Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show, a Lions reaction show post Thursday Night Football against the Green Bay Packers. Make sure you check out our Packers takeaways. That video is also out right now on our channel. Paul joined alongside Robert Ziggy Ziegler at the University of Virginia and Zach Bloomquist, the best executive producer in the game on a rainy Friday here in New Jersey, a very rainy Friday in New Jersey. Ziggy, when you talk about the best moments the Lions have had over the past 30 years, I think most Lions fans, and please, if you're watching, leave in the comment section where this ranks. But a lot of Lions fans would say last year against the Packers, Week 18, just a really satisfying win. Going in and knocking Aaron Rodgers out of the playoffs, intercepting him on his last pass as a Packer. Just a phenomenal win without really any reward to it. Just a great moment, and really a great NFC North moment. This one right here, this win that they had on Thursday Night Football at Green Bay, going into Lambeau Field and dominating the Packers. This game wasn't close. I know at the end it was a 10-point fourth quarter lead. This wasn't close at all. Detroit dominated basically from start to finish after the Goff interception. I have to imagine this is one of the best Detroit Lions moments of the past 30 years, if not number one.
I'm thinking, what else is it supposed to be, right? Like, I think that Stafford fake spike.
Like, those are great games, but...
Yeah, no, I mean, like what? The Cowboys-Lions playoff, that was over 30 years ago. Like, yeah, this is one of the best moments for the Lions in recent history, I think. And how can you blame them, right? At Green Bay is a place with so many bad memories for every other NFC North team. To walk in there, you know, the Packers fans are rowdy. They're hoping to get control of the division. They think it's the same old Lions, and you absolutely maul them. Right? Imagine the feeling after Jared Goff throws that interception. You think, oh no, like this isn't looking good. And then it's foot on the gas for the rest of the game. It has to be good.
In those other games too, that you mentioned, like the fake spike, they had a playoff appearance with Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford, maybe two. But overall, those teams are never a serious contender, never a serious threat. This win, what I think so many Lions fans are enjoying right now as they sit at 3-1, is that you have to take them seriously. They didn't only go in and beat the crap out of the Packers. They really put a foothold on the NFC North right now and look like they could be threatening as a real Super Bowl team in the NFC. I have to say, I didn't want to believe it all offseason. I know the 8-1 finish. They were phenomenal down the stretch, hottest team in the NFL. I kept trying to push back over and over and over again. Here's where Lions fans are going to, rightfully so. I'm tipping my cap to you. They're really good. They're a really good football team on both sides of the ball. They're tough. They play like their coach wants them to. I like Dan Campbell a lot, even though he does some questionable things. Guy's got guts, and the team wants to play for him. They'll run through a brick wall. I think right now, Ziggy, they are by far the best team in the NFC North. They've proven to me that they are 100% a tier 2 team in the NFC, probably just with the Seahawks behind the tier 1 San Francisco, Dallas, and Philadelphia teams. The question now is, it's no longer will they regress to that tier 3. It is, can they compete with the big boys? And I think they can play with them.
Yeah, I mean, here's what this Lions team has been doing really well, right? They're off to a good 3-1 start. That one loss was an unfortunate sort of overtime loss to Geno Smith. What this team has done really well and why they keep winning these games is because they're playing excellent, fundamentally sound football. They've got a strong offensive and defensive line. They've got good receivers for Jared Goff to get the ball to. Jared Goff's not making a lot of mistakes. You have a strong run game. You have a defensive line that can get a lot of pressures. You've got guys on defense like Brian Branch and Jerry Jacobs who can get you an interception when you need one. Like, everything seems to be going pretty well. And when you make a mistake, the team doesn't get scared. They don't get concerned, right? That Jared Goff interception is the sort of thing on like the third play that can derail a team. It's like it never even happened. The defense steps up, makes sure the Packers score 3 points in the first half, and the offense just does their thing.
When you look at these teams too, the big 3 in the NFC, what are they built on? They're built in the trenches. The Eagles, the 49ers, and the Cowboys. They can all whoop your ass on defense and they get after the quarterback, and they'll push you around on the offensive line. Detroit is getting closer and closer to that mold. They're basically there on the offensive line. The defensive line still has a couple question marks, but you have a bona fide star in Aidan Hutchinson right there, someone who's breaking out further and further in front of our eyes. He had 1.5 sacks last night. But they're able to push you around, and there's no other teams really in the NFC that can do that on both sides of the football, and that's why I think they're climbing higher and higher up this ranking in terms of legitimate Super Bowl contenders. Just look at the rushing game. They're 4th in the NFL, allowing 60.8 rushing yards per game. They're 9th rushing for 136.5. They dominate in the trenches, and as far as the division is concerned right now, tell me if you agree with this. I don't really see anyone contending with them at the moment. If I had to pick, it would still be the Vikings. Even though they're 0-3, the offense is really good in Minnesota, and they could contend. They could play a game with anyone. But that defense is so weak, and I don't see them getting much better. It seems like Detroit should be able to just coast to a division title this year. I know Lions fans don't want to hear that because it's been 30 years, but the path is just crystal clear right now.
It's certainly looking good. I mean, winning in Green Bay, even if you split with the Packers, you're still probably going to be okay. There's a good chance for them to win the division. And when you're winning a division, like we talked about the Eagles and the Cowboys. Well, if the Lions win a division, they're guaranteed to be seated higher than one of them. Will they be the same record as the 49ers? Maybe not. But even if you're the 3 seed, that's okay. Right, as long as you don't have to worry about having that 4 seed and playing like the Cowboys or the Eagles in your first playoff matchup, you'll be okay. So there's definitely a good path for this Lions team.
And you talked about, right before we got on, their schedule going forward this year. Let's just play a little game. Well, let's just real quickly go through. The Lions sit at 3-1 right now. And this is where Lions fans, again, you've waited 30 years for this moment, so enjoy this as we go through. Ziggy, I'm just going to read you the games, and you tell me right now who you would pick to win. And we'll just see where we have Detroit finishing post first game of week 4. So don't put too much into this, but we're just going to have some fun here. They're 3-1 hosting the Panthers.
Lions.
At Bucks.
Lions.
At Ravens.
I'll be conservative and go Ravens.
Hosting the Raiders.
Lions.
At Chargers.
Lions.
Hosting the Bears.
Lions.
Hosting the Packers.
Lions.
At the Saints.
Lions.
At the Bears.
Lions.
Hosting the Broncos.
Lions.
At the Vikings.
Lions.
At the Cowboys.
Cowboys.
At the hosting the Vikings.
Lions.
Okay, so you have the Lions finishing the year at 14-3.
I get that sounds crazy, but they'll be favored in almost every single one of those games unless something crazy happens.
You have to think maybe at the Saints and at the Vikings, they're not maybe they're not giving points in those games. Maybe probably still are. At the Chargers, they're probably getting points against the Chargers, so that was one. Maybe you flip that, but you look at this schedule, and of course you have to go out there and play the games. You never know what's going to happen. But this is not a difficult schedule. And the teams in their division are just not that good. If this Lions team finishes 12-5, they're probably going to be the 3 seed, and you're probably
they could be the 2 seed.
Yeah, they could be, and you're probably looking at. I mean, no, they could be the 1. Like I don't know why we're messing around. They could win the 1 seed, despite how good San Francisco has been. But yeah, I'm seeing this Lions team as they should be able to get to the divisional round of the playoffs without really too much worry. And this is the crazy thing to be saying about a team that hasn't won the division in 30 years, has never won the NFC North, has a handful of playoff appearances in the past 30 years. It's a great turnaround. And you know what? For Lions fans, you're annoying me. You're really annoying me because as a Viking fan, I don't want to see anyone else rising up the NFC North. But you're right at the moment. And you have to give credit where it's due. This is a good football team. Did you see what Aidan Hutchinson said after the game? It was just awesome.
What did he say, Paul?
He was asked, you're from Michigan. What does dominance in this rivalry mean? I thought dominance was a little bit of a stretch here. We're talking 2 games right now, or 3 against the Packers. But he said, it's fun, man. I grew up with Aaron Rodgers kicking our ass every year. So it's good to be on the winning side of things. Aaron's out of the division, so life's good right now. And that's kind of where we're at in the NFC North is if you're a Lions fan, everything's open because the big bad wolf is gone. He's out in New York, and hopefully he recovers for next year. I'd love to watch him as a non-NFC North rival. But it's open. You have your chance, and the Lions, it also coincides with them being good for the first time in a long time. Those Calvin Johnson teams are fun, but I don't know if I ever considered them much of a threat. This team is good. This team is really good.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you who deserves a lot of credit is Aaron Glenn, their defensive coordinator. Because last year, the Lions defense was putrid. And I know some Lions fans who wanted him gone. Last year, their defense was last in opposing yards per play. They gave up over 6. 41% of their opponents' drives ended in scores. This year, they're 5th in opposing yards per play, only 4.5, and only 33% of opponents' drives are ending in a score. Yep. So the defense is vastly better. And this lets the offense sort of do their thing, right? Jared Goff isn't forced into playing a shootout every single week.
Oh, man, he's looked good, though. He has looked
really
good.
No, he's looked great, but boy, it's nice when if you put up like 35 points, you win the game. And Lions fans know last year, Jared Goff could put up over 30 points and you don't win.
You look at Jared Goff. Yeah. I'm sorry, finish your thought.
I was just going to say, like last year, you saw a lot of promise, but you were thinking every week if the defense can just get a little bit better. Well, the defense has gotten a heck of a lot better. Oh, yeah. So there's a lot to be excited about here.
Yeah. And Jared Goff, we just mentioned him. He has to be considered a top 5 quarterback in the NFC right now. Zach picked his head up for a second. He thought NFL-wise, top 12 quarterback? Probably, right? Are there 12 quarterbacks playing better football than Jared Goff at the moment? I'm not sure. Like he is really. I can't believe that this is working in Detroit. Well, there's an Athletic article. I haven't read it yet, and it's just from when he was first with the Lions, and it just said, "What if this actually works?" From his intro press conference. Like you trade away Stafford. What if this works with Jared Goff? And right now, it's looking like you probably have a franchise quarterback for the next few years, just the way he's playing.
Yeah, he's on track to finish of 4,100 yards, 24 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. And I mean, that's not exactly lighting the world on fire, but those are good numbers, right? Those are the numbers that a team with a good run game, because the running backs are getting a lot of touchdowns. If you've got a good run game, a good defense, and an efficient quarterback who limits mistakes, like we saw what the 49ers were able to do with something like that in the NFC a few years ago.
Yep.
If that is a recipe, if not for a Super Bowl, at least for consistent playoff success. And I'll tell you, like Lions fans, I get being excited, but if you win a playoff game this year, that's got to feel pretty good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just want to real quick mention a couple of stats from the game because we said it in the Packer video, but these are going to be separate here. When you look at just how much they whooped Green Bay, it was 401 yards of total offense to 230. Time of possession, 38 to 22. The rushing yards, 211 to 27. I just think about that drive in the fourth quarter when Green Bay cut the lead to 10. And how many times in the past have we seen all NFC North teams go against Aaron Rodgers and he gets the football and goes on a long drive, a back-breaking drive for a touchdown to end the game? Detroit goes 75 yards and 14 plays just running down the Packers' throat. And that had to feel good. And it felt good watching it from a Viking fan. It's just, that's what good teams do. They put you away. Our Irish couldn't do that against Ohio State a week ago, but I'm going to save myself from going down that path. It's encouraging times in Detroit. And that D-line too, by the way. 1 sack in the first 2 weeks, 12 the past 2. So this team is just getting better and better.
And Jameson Williams is coming back. The NFL changed the rules for gambling. He gets to come back next week. Brian Branch didn't get injured too badly. He'll be okay, hopefully, for week 5. Things are going up in Detroit.
Good times for to be alive. Who would have thought going into Kansas City, into Green Bay, those are just 2 great road wins. One unexpected, maybe except for Lions fans who expected it, but one at Kansas City, very unexpected. And then just for a passing of the torch sort of a moment. I don't know if the torch was really being passed. It's more still on the ground, in my opinion. But
no, and look, there are things to complain about in the Packers offense. There are things to worry about with the front office. I have no idea what they're doing with Jahmyr Gibbs, but it does not matter if you're winning games. We can
Jahmyr
worry
Gibbs
about
is killing me in fantasy, man. I
don't know who told you to take that guy, but look, those are the kinds of things to worry about in the offseason. We're certainly going to have our offseason videos talking about, did the Lions do a good job in the offseason? But you can see it on Twitter. You can see it in how fans respond. In the middle of the season, nobody cares.
Nope, right now, win football games.
Yeah, Sam Laporte is doing great. Amon-Ra St. Brown's doing great. David Montgomery's doing great. Who cares about anything else?
Yeah, it'll be, look, they're a fun team to watch. From someone who's not rooting for them, they're still a lot of fun to watch. And if I were a Lions fan, I'd be having a great time right now. So, you know, 30 years, I can give it to you. I can give you a season for 30 years. But
at least it's not. If the Packers won, I would have been miserable. If the Lions win, and I feel okay.
I'm not really happy about any of it, but it is what
I'm
it
not
is.
happy,
it
but
is what
you
it
know,
is.
you can feel. I'm saying this. I feel okay about it.
We got Kirk throwing for 6,000 yards, 50 touchdowns. Jefferson, 2,500 yards on pace. And all we talk about is the Packers and Lions because we can't win a damn game. But enjoy this right now, Detroit fans, because just know the rest of us are miserable. Gosh. All right. We will see you next week with our Week 4 reaction show. To Lions fans, congratulations. Not happy about it, but it looks like you're having your moment in the sun. Enjoy it.